man. I'm
All
All
right.
right.
I'm in the mood, man.
Let,
I
let
don't
me
know,
go.
man. It's
Let
just
me
the
do the live.
brink.
Let me do the
You
live, bro.
reach
Pastor, what
you
episode is
reach
this?
your fucking point. Episode 22.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't.
Yeah, I am.
I'm one behind posting. I got to post the chocolate from last week, and I still got to get a clip
Chocolate,
up.
bro. That shit's crazy.
And I still got to get a clip up from the fucking from the space case joint. I've been behind, man, because you've been having me do all these verses.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Nah, I mean it's been cool. I've been busy as fuck too. And it's been cool that like it's something that I talked with Gamblez for a bit yesterday, and I think it was him that I told it to. Because I've been working mad hours. I know you work mad hours and you do a lot of other shit too, Denku. So it's like I see a post yesterday. I see several posts like this where and it's not I'm not like trying to totally shit on these people for like you don't do as much work as we I'm do. not like trying to totally shit on that's it is what it is.
Mm.
But when you're going out there puffing your chest over like a 5 song EP, a 3 song EP that took you a year and a half, and me and Denku are casually with like the few hours in the day that we have any free time. What are we like 7 tracks into this joint already now? In
Yeah.
2 weeks?
Why wrote? I'm gonna record the soup joint tonight. I wrote my verse today.
Yeah.
I'm
So
gonna
it's like
record. I'm gonna
that's
record that shit after the podcast, and then I don't know if I'm gonna write another joint today after that, or if I'm vibing. Otherwise, probably write to the two other joints tomorrow. I was thinking real quick before we get into the whole talk and the conversation with the homie Gambles. I was thinking the joint with the Demolition Man intro should have no hook. I don't think. I think just back to back verses. I think on that.
okay.
I just think it's just a vibe. I think with that. So I don't know if Space can lay it out that
Oh,
way, or if I need to
he
take it
can.
out, or
No, he definitely can.
yeah. So I think that's the direction we should go with that. Let me send out a few invites real quick. Hold on one second.
Hell yeah.
Um,
No, I'm down. I was gonna say like if there's other joints that like we want to do some more shit to. Like I know we got a couple that we got 2 verses to. We got a hook if we want to do like a back and forth, or if we want to look for some features. Um, I'm cool with pretty much whatever we do. Um, it's
yeah,
just dope. I know
we'll see
like
what's up. We'll see what's up with it. Gambles, do I follow your main page, man?
I think
How
so.
many
Yeah.
like the Gams,
yeah,
Games the lucky bastard is my Facebook.
That's your main page?
Yup.
yeah.
All right, yeah. So I do follow. I'm gonna tag
Yup.
that one.
And then I got my IG.
Um,
I don't fuck with
Yeah,
that
man.
X.
Yeah, man. I don't either. I
Yeah.
never
I
really fucked
tried.
with
You know what
Twitter.
I'm saying? I was like, this shit's it's more
I
for
did
like
too.
celebrity banter
well,
and
you
shit back and forth.
well,
Like, all right.
you know what's crazy? Hold on, let me do the intro first, and we'll talk about it. Welcome, everybody. This is the CyphaDen Chat in association with the Denku Podcast. I'm your host, Tayamu Denku. I got my homie Pestilence with me, and tonight, special
Pesto
guest.
legs.
Yes, Pesto Legs. Thank you very much for that. Tonight, special guest in the building, the homie Gambles. What's going on,
No,
Gambles? How you doing, man?
you see it, bro. I'm here with you. Can't complain, living life.
Yeah,
You know what I
man.
Gambles, the
mean?
lucky bastard.
Working,
Teyamu Denku.
working.
Word up. That's what's up, man. Yeah, man. But what before I cut off and did the intro, what were we about to say? Now I forgot. Now it's all
We're talking
fucked up in
about
my head.
Twitter.
We're
Twitter.
talking
Oh
about
yeah.
Twitter,
So
man.
so you know what's crazy is there was a lot of people that were on the Twitter game mad early, and they used
Yup.
to always talk shit about me because I was never on it. But then when I jumped on it, even back in the day, I was like, this shit is lame.
Yeah,
Like
it's
y'all,
corny.
like what? Like why? Why do so many of y'all love this? Like I don't understand. Like why? How is this better than other social media shit? How do you get like why do y'all fuck with this so heavy? I never understood it, and I
Yeah.
still don't understand it. The only thing that I understand about it is like it was easy for the blog era
Right.
because
Yes.
all the bloggers were on there and it was easy to tag artists and drop the blog link and all that shit. It was very well used for the blog era. Like when I was on the blog shit, all my blog posts would get posted on Twitter by all the blogs. That's
Right.
like the only advantage that Twitter ever had for me. Now,
Yeah.
now there's nothing. Like I don't like I
It's
might randomly drop a post on there, but it's very rare, and I just don't give a fuck about it.
yeah. I always look at it like it's the social media for the social elite. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like mad celebrities on there retweeting each other's shit and beefing on there and shit like that. It's like if I want to see that, I'll just check my news feed. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd rather
It'll
just
pop
I'd
up.
rather just direct communicate with my audience and my people that I need to talk to. You know what I'm saying? And just leave it like that. And not only that, man, sometimes that shit is just too much, bro. Like sitting there, you got your Facebook, you got your fucking Instagram, you got your Twitter, you got your Twitch, you got your fucking whatever, like all that shit, TikTok, and it's like, goddamn, bro, like I'm
Yeah.
too
It
old for
is.
this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Like,
see,
Yeah.
see, Twitch is what I was gonna say that I would link to Twitter as my most like I can see the value in that, but like Twitter feels like it's fallen way off as the primary to Instagram
yeah,
for a lot of people like since it's had to change and now it's like fucking X or whatever it is now and
yeah,
Instagram has threads and there's just too many that are diluting it but like back before I did hip hop I used to fucking I was affiliated on Twitch. I would stream video games and shit and
mm,
Twitter was really good for reaching new audiences in that community
yeah,
but like it's just because the massive tagging and the hashtagging and shit, they were the first to that game. So they were the first to like the trending and having that
right,
news feed that way. But it feels like all the other ones have been inspired by that. And
yep,
now that exists on every platform. So it's
yep,
not like they're set apart that way anymore. You know,
right,
it's like I feel like for us as independent artists or for anybody in general, like you're gonna have more success reaching people and actually building a fan base with a more personable social media platform where you're actually able to interact and message and do shit, or going on something like Reddit and talking in the forums and like
right,
doing stuff like that, then you
Mm.
will throwing tweets into the void.
yeah. Like I said, there's so much of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I've always been the type of dude I was late to the party for all that shit. Like, I remember like I started my MySpace page 2 or 3 years after everybody else did, and then I got on Facebook, 4 or 5 years after everybody else did, and fucking, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm just a caveman, bro. Like I'm an old school motherfucker. I'll continue in my stubborn ways for several years until I realize that that's just a dying craft or something, and they'll be like, all right, let me just check this now.
I,
You know what I mean? But and nowadays, this day and age, you got to at least be strong in your game on at least a couple of them social media platforms. You know what I'm saying? If you want to make it anywhere as an artist, that's just what it is, regardless if you like it or not. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to continuously post your shit and just continuously be out there in everybody's faces. So that's just one big way to do it. That's not like when we were coming up. Obviously, that none of that kind of shit existed. You know what I mean? Social media was the Source magazine and fucking, and actually
yeah.
just listening to the radio. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But it's good too because, like I said, you have more direct relation with your fan base through this kind of shit. You know what I mean? Like it's no longer fan mail. Like you could direct message me. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't have like a mail in and shit like that. You could direct message me, you know. But then you get the floodgates with fucking Abib Saman and fucking all them dudes that hit you up and like, yo, do you need music promotion? And I design website pages and you know what I mean? It's like, damn, you get a million of those every fucking day.
And cartoon
What?
artists, bro,
The cartoon artists,
the
yeah, like
cartoon
Yeah.
artists, bro.
So what do you think about I had a conversation one time, actually not too long ago with my homie OP. His name's Simon. I was at a album listening event and I had a conversation with my homie that I've known for a long time. Actually, we actually battled in a battle back in the day and shit. But super cool dude. But he's like a branding person. He does branding and shit. And we had a long conversation about how, you know, you can look at pages and see if they're real or fake at the snap of a finger just by how much interaction they get. And when you look at the interaction they get, if they're, you have to double check if they're fake profiles or not. And I've noticed a lot of people that talk all this shit about all their interaction they're getting, and literally a majority of their interaction is not real profiles. They're all fake profiles just to act like they're getting real interaction. None of those people are actually checking your shit. So what do you think about that bullshit? Because there's probably there's probably even a lot of people that we know personally that do that shit just to
Absolutely,
you know, fake it to make it type shit.
Absolutely. Well, that just goes, that's the same as like everything's got to be right now. You know what I'm saying? There's no more like it takes time to build. There's no more like work on your shit. There's no more like organic nothing like that. I mean, there is, you know what I'm saying, but it's a lost art. It's like a dying craft to just build your shit organically. Now people want to get that instant gratification. You know what I'm saying? Just to get on there and be like, look, I got 187 hits on my post and blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, but how many comments you got on it? How many likes do you have on it? You know what I'm saying? How many people are shared your post? You know? Was there any kind of meaningful open discussion on said post? You know what I mean? Like, nah. You know, it's just all about right now, instant, quick, quick, quick. You know what I'm saying? And that doesn't ever go anywhere. And that's why the music, even that we're listening to nowadays, not us, you know what I'm saying, but the mainstream hip hop fan is listening to music that'll never be played on the radio in 20 years. They'll never remember any of these songs that come out right now in 15, 20 years from now. They won't even remember them. You know what I'm saying? Like, and all these fucking artists and shit like that that are coming out that are a dime a dozen that all sound the exact same and doing the same shit, they're not going to be remembered. You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, you know, I was just talking to somebody the other day. You catch me at a stoplight and I got the window down, I'm more than likely still banging Only Built for Cuban Links loudly. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it really, if it's anything new, it's going to be something that from the homies that I'm fucking with and I'm listening to. You know what I'm saying? But you know, it's just like that, bro, and that is a reflection of that. You know what I mean? Like, it's so flash in the pan. It's so superficial, like and artificial. You know, it's kind of fucking crazy. But at the end of the day, you know, they know that it ain't legit. You know what I mean? So when it's like that, the people who tend to work the hardest are the ones who end up getting the payoff at the end of the day. It's just a long haul. You know what I'm saying? It just takes you gotta put in the work, bro. You gotta put in the work. Sometimes it takes a very long fucking time before anything happens for you.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
the turtle wins the race concept is
Turtle
basically what
wins
you're
the
talking
race
about.
every fucking time, bro. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is, you know, and you know, you can tell right off rip who these types of cats are and shit like that. And you know, it's like the
Some
anal
of them
diggity
disguise
features and all that shit.
some of them disguise it well though.
Yeah,
Some
yeah.
of them do disguise it. They
They
disguise it.
definitely have. They definitely have. There's little schemes and shit like that that people are learning, you know, of how to get mass followers and shit like that. And you know, I also like I kind of sometimes it's like, man, like I'll be more than likely say like if Denku personally hits me up and it's like, yo, Gams, if you check my new album, you know what I'm saying? Please check my new album or my new video. Here's this shit. Let me know what you think. Then I am of like some mass fucking sent out like text or something like that that's like, yo, click on this with no explanation, no like what's up personally to me or nothing like that. And it ain't even like I'm not even looking at it like, oh fuck you, I'm not clicking on your shit. It just I automatically like register it as like a fucking mass advertisement or something like that, like fucking telemarketing. You know what I mean? I'm like, yo,
Yeah.
I like scam likely. Nah, you know what I'm saying? Like just fucking swipe the other way. You know, and it's unfortunate, and it's not because there's not dope artists that are doing that. There is dope artists that do that shit. You know what I'm saying? But it's so oversaturated with a bunch of fucking retards that put their music out like that. You know what I mean? Just to have somebody click on the shit and just look at it for a minute. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't even do it. I'm like, yo, I just ain't got the time for that shit, man. I ain't got the time
Well,
for
and
it.
I look at it like, who it's coming from too. If
That's
it's
what I'm
coming
saying.
from one of the
That's what I'm
homies,
saying.
like I'm gonna look at it, when I have the time. But if it's coming from somebody I have never spoken to, never interacted with, never nothing, it's like, yo, you don't owe me, you don't give me the respect of fucking introducing yourself or
Right,
getting to know who the fuck I am before you
right,
send me this. Like,
right. It
I'm
was like,
not gonna go out of my way to listen to your shit.
for a minute, like I actually had kind of a hard stance on like the at everyone tags and shit like that. And then I was like, I was like, because it's kind of in the same vein, you know what I mean? But I was like, you know what though? That's what this is for, though. The social media platforms, that's how you promote within on a social media platform. You know what I mean? Get it into everybody's hands all at once and shit. Like I get it. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
But
my stance on that, because I do that shit all the time. Because my
yeah,
stance on that is Facebook is trying to get you to pay for that shit, and I'm not
right,
paying Facebook for none of that.
right.
So if you fuck with me as an artist, you shouldn't have a problem with me tagging you in the shit.
Exactly.
But if you don't fuck, if you have a problem with it, then you obviously don't fuck with me really as an artist, because you know that a majority of my page
Mm.
is nothing but music shit.
Yep.
And if you're not going to see it naturally, because I'm not going to pay for the ad space through
Right.
Facebook, then that's what you're going to get.
That's what you got to
And
do. Yeah.
and the thing about it is, you can adjust your page so you don't see it, or
Yep.
you can adjust it so it doesn't pop up on your page.
Yep.
So you can do all that. So the people that complain are really just lazy pieces of shit.
Yep. And that's exactly what I did. Once I realized that that's how I felt about it, I was like, you know what though, I could fix this. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I can go in there and change my notifications and shit like that, or unfollow certain people that I could give a fuck about, or whatever the fuck. You know what I'm saying? So it's not so flooded with a bunch of shit that I don't care about. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'd rather it be from homies and shit like that. And I'll go on your shit. I'll go watch your video. I'll go watch your podcast or whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, no, that's the quick fix. You know what I mean? Like, just do it like that. That way you can still support your homies and shit, and be in the know of what the fuck is going on and shit. Like, there's still dope music out there, man.
I mean, like literally, I don't even care when people tag me. It doesn't
Mm.
bother me at all, because if I fuck with it, I'm gonna accept the acknowledgement to have it just post on my page. If I don't fuck with it or don't want it on my page and just looks like some spam shit, even though you did that, I just won't accept or acknowledge it, or just
Right.
go down through the timeline and nobody will see it except me randomly. But it just never bothered me. And like,
Yeah. No, I feel you. I feel you.
yeah,
It's a lot like this, like the woke shit nowadays and all that kind of shit. And we always, our immediate response is like, if you don't like it, don't watch it. You know what I'm saying? Or
yeah,
if you don't want to listen to it, then don't fucking tune in. You know what I'm saying? So it's in that same vein. You know what I'm saying? That's why, like I said, I admit to that first initial thought being hypocritical, and that's why I was like, okay, I can adjust this and make it work for me too. You know what I'm saying? And because
yeah.
it's a big part of it. You know what I mean? It's a big part of it. Shows, man. I shows. You know what I'm saying? Like it's been a while since I've been out there on that scene. You know what I mean? And just getting out there and getting shows. Still really trying to adjust to this atmosphere out here in Colorado. You know what I mean? And who's out here and what's popping. And from where I'm at, like any kind of significant show and shit like that, even just to go see what time it is and shit, not even just to go to the show, I'm gonna have to drive an hour and a half, 2 hours out the way. You know what I'm saying? To go do it. But on the flip side of that, I've been able to sit here, for the last couple of years and really knock out a ton of material. You know what I'm saying? I was just telling Pesto the other day, I was like, Denku is probably the only dude besides me that I know that's just sitting on 5, 6, 7, 8 finished, completed projects and shit like that, and just waiting to drop. You know what I mean? Like
Well,
when the
I
time
got,
is right.
yeah, I feel you. I got 18. I got 18.
Yeah, I know. Yo, I be seeing the list and the list grows. I'm like, yo, that's more than what it was last time I saw it. Like, oh shit. Yeah, prolific, bro. Prolific.
Yeah.
Yeah. So wait, where exactly are you in means to Denver?
I'm like I said, I'm about an hour and a half south of Denver. It feels weird to say that
Oh,
because
so you're like Pueblo area over around there somewhere.
and that's where Gibby's at. I live probably about an hour away from Gibby and shit out now. He's out in Pueblo. I'm right next to Breckenridge.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
like right next. I'm like 2 towns over from Breckenridge. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm way up in the mountains.
Yeah, because I mean,
Wow.
I did a string of shows. It's been a while since I played Colorado actually, but I did a string of shows in Colorado where I played Denver, Fort Collins, and Colorado Springs.
Yep.
And then I actually had all three of those booked again, along with Pueblo. And then I was going to move down to New Mexico and go over to Tucson. That was my tour I had booked prior to the pandemic that I had to cancel. And then I planned on rebooking it, but things happened. Now, you know, I announced obviously the 21 day. It's pretty much finalized now. The 21 day with Pesto, Denko and the
Yep.
Pest tour. East Coast
Yep.
is what we're doing. So
That's gonna be fire. That's gonna be
Yeah.
fire.
I'm
You know what I'm
excited.
saying?
I know it's a brand new experience. And I think like so this is the thing. Like you two obviously have been doing this for a very long time. And there's a lot more people because the industry and just the game has become more saturated because we have more access to stuff and more people, it's more accessible to the everyday. And that's good in a lot of regards. Like it's good for someone like me to be able to have a nice studio set up and be able to do stuff because I give a fuck and be able to produce that and not have to go and rely on being able to book studio time and pay for it and do all that kind of stuff. So I'm able to create a lot of music.
Yep.
So it's good in that regard, but it's bad in the other regard where it's like you said before, the instant gratification. A lot of people think that okay, I just did this. I made a song. I deserve my flowers immediately. I think my song's as good as all these great songs that exist.
Yep.
And
hate it.
it's one of those things that, like, for me, I look at it like if you're ever going to have any kind of longevity, you have you should have every intention to hone your skills and sharpen your sword. And every other job that I've ever worked, every other anything that I've ever worked, the goal is to get better at what you're doing and get more efficient and get more,
Yeah.
gain more skills and level up and do stuff. And it feels like that part of hip hop has greatly diminished in the last, I mean, at least since I've been a part of it, it seems like a lot of people don't care about developing the skills and being the most elite. They care
Yeah.
about I want to pop. I want people to fuck with me. I want the clicks. I
Yeah,
want the
no.
money.
Skill sets are dead. Skill sets are dead.
Yeah. Yeah. People don't practice. Remember fucking, we would be in high school or on the block or anywhere, and there would be a cipher would pop up. You know what I'm saying? And you'd be just out there freestyling and shit like that. And you would go around for an hour. My verse, your verse, my verse, his verse, like somebody boom boxing and kicking a beat. Like you don't ever see that anymore. Ever. And that was like for us, we weren't even looking at it like I gotta sharpen my skills. It was just this is what we do. This is fun. You know what I'm saying? And in by doing that unwittingly or unknowingly, you were sharpening your skills. You know what I'm saying? And there was people that just did that, and then there was people that did that and were like, yo, you know what? Like, I want to take this a little bit more seriously. You know what I'm saying? Nowadays, yeah, you don't get that. You don't get that. How many of these dudes have you seen humiliated on like whatever show, Breakfast Club or any of that shit where they're asked to kick something and they just flop and they can't and they're like, yo, change the beat or fucking do this or do that. It's like, bro, you got to be ready on the spot. You know what I'm saying? But it just shows it's not important anymore. It's not important anymore. I don't
No.
even know what the fuck these kids are listening to anymore. Like it's sound effects. You know what I mean? Skirt, wop. You know what I mean? Like there we go. It's a hit record. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
Yeah, it's
fucking
terrible.
crazy, bro. It's crazy.
Yeah,
So that's why
I'm
I said, like, you're more than likely to catch me banging something from '94 in my truck. You know what I'm saying? Than anything that I can hear now. You know what I mean? Yeah, like it's completely flip flop. It's changed. It's changed. You thought that like it's fucked up too because anytime somebody like a Griselda or Himlo or any of these dudes are out there, and you're like, yo, bet there's still people out there from that ilk that are dropping dope music, but it's just not going to be fucking mainstream like that anymore. Griselda, I think, is a little bit of a different story, but they kind of
well,
even them like switch their shit.
yeah, but you know what you know the thing I love a lot of Griselda shit. There's a lot of shit that I love that
Yeah,
they do. But
yeah,
you know the thing that I hated that happened when Griselda popped is all these people that imitated Griselda.
imitated. Yep,
I hated it so
yep.
much. And then like all them they're like, yeah, we're really popping shit now. I'm like, no, you're doing the same shit that
Yeah,
they did already. Like, you're
yeah,
not doing anything different. And it's a lot of dudes still doing that. And
yeah,
they think that that's what they need to do because they think that's the only underground shit that's popping. But they forgot that there's still the formula and idea for the real heads where you need to have your own style.
yeah,
That's a big thing for people that really fuck with the art and the skill set shit still. That's a big thing. If you don't have your own style and you're imitating somebody else's style, and we can tell that you sound like not even a blend of so and so, but you sound directly like this dude, we're like, you're kind of whack.
yeah.
Right.
Carbon copy. You know what I'm saying? I
Well,
strive for that shit. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people like Pesto's obviously a big fan of I got some crazy punchlines and shit like that, but it's like shock value, like punchlines. Like, who the fuck else is gonna say some shit like that? You know what I mean? But like my shit is like my voice and my distinction. Like when I come in and come booming on a track, you're gonna fucking know that it's me. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be mistaken for anybody else ever. You know what I mean? Like I would hate that shit. I would hate that shit. If somebody heard a record and heard somebody on it and thought it was me, or heard me on a record and thought it was somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Like fuck that. I gotta keep my shit distinct, and you know what I
I
mean?
I fuck with that. I fuck with that mentality, and I do have a little bit of that at times. But I mean, like, I'm actually kind of I like the appeal of like, because like I'm a big fan of Doom, and I'm a big fan of a lot of these dudes that like did different things and reinvented. And I think the thing that appealed to me the most about Doom wasn't the fucking mask or the character in itself. It was the willingness and the want to like, okay, so I already have a platform. People know me as Zev Love X. I'm gonna reinvent myself as a different MC and ascend the ranks again. And
Right.
then I'm gonna release projects under pseudonyms and raise up even more and put these different styles out there. And some of those projects, man, it's like listening to some of the deliveries and in the voice and stuff on some of those projects, like he does stuff a lot different. And it's like
Yeah.
I do appreciate like the diversity and stuff when it's clearly like an act of passion. And I look at it more as like a theater. It's like a
Yeah.
cross of theater slash acting with top tier lyricism and hip hop. I
Yeah.
don't I agree with you though in the terms of like trying to completely emulate somebody else's style and do that to develop and try to be like that's my style,
Yeah.
like I do that. I think it's corny to me. It's weird. I mean, it's like even when you have like a parent that has a kid that gets into hip hop and they sound exactly like that person. It's like
Right.
it's
We'll see.
cool, but it's like I like to see like the little flavors and stuff. Like Chris Rivers is a great example. Like he don't
Right.
sound just like his dad. He's got his own thing, but you see flashes of it in
Oh,
there. And I
absolutely.
love that. And I
Yep.
love that. I think like that's a great sweet spot to be at
Yep.
when you're somebody that's like developing yourself and you clearly want to do the thing and it's an act of passion. And I think like when you talk about live shows, so I've been to a lot of them, both good and bad, in terms of like the artists being real and the artists being fake. And what I have noticed, and this goes to anybody with the instant gratification to say, oh, I bought onto this show and it was popping and everybody was having a good time. As somebody that stands behind a bar for a living and has people on the other side, there's two kinds of bartenders, there's two kinds of entertainers. You got the bartender that's a flash in a pan, maybe it's a cute girl, doesn't really do the job well. They're not going to keep the bar full. You got the guy that is everybody's drinks full, everybody's got everything they need, the environment is kept, in check, and people remember that, and that builds business and brings people back. Just like with an artist like Denku, or like I've been starting to get this more as I put more work in, where you do a show and you might not have 100 people there going crazy because there's not 100 people there, but you'll have several people come up to you that are genuinely impacted by what you've done. And they
Right.
come up to you and they're like, holy shit, this was incredible. There was a show last year we played where Denku, we were in just this little hole in the wall shit bar, and Denku's up there freestyling, taking words from the crowd and freestyling those words. And I watched from the beginning this group of four like redneck, definitely don't listen to hip hop, only country music, coming in the back of the fucking beat this shit rust bucket trucks come walking in. And these guys kind of have a scowl on their face when they walk in because they see hip hop. I see them kind of joke to each other like, what the fuck is this? And then I watch them become captivated by what Denku's doing. These other people that are imitating, they're gonna be laughed at by those four guys the entire night. Denku
Right.
had these guys come up to him like, I don't, what is that? I've never seen
Yeah,
anything like that.
they
I
actually
don't
told
listen to hip hop.
they literally told me. They said, like, I remember it down to a T. They came up to me and they were like, we don't even listen to rap music, but you are
Yeah.
amazing. That's
Yeah.
exactly what they said to me. And then
Yeah.
they were like, do you have things? Can we buy things?
I have things. Yes, I have things.
And
I
that goes
guess
in
in
line with
essence, like
longevity,
that's the whole point. You know what I'm saying? That
right?
why we're doing what we're doing and working so hard, and you know, leaving your families behind or leaving your job behind for a while or whatever it is you got to do. And you're making the sacrifices and shit. And just like Pesta was just saying, even if there isn't even 100 people there, it's that couple of groups of people or a few dudes that come walking up and saying some shit like that. And you know it's genuine. That makes it worth it. You know what I'm saying? Like chasing a money dream, I think kind of is why we have the music that we have nowadays. People who do it for the love of the culture and the art without a thought of reward outside of something like that, something organic and real like that. You know what I mean? Those are the ones that sound stupid and look like shit. You can fucking tell when somebody really means it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I could just imagine seeing you on stage and just you could just tell by the look in your face, I'm sure, how much it means to you what you're doing, and probably too that certain amount of swag. Like, yeah, this shit is easy for me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and people are just like, wow, blown away by that. You know, so that to me is like the whole point. I would rather
It's like
have
you said,
one.
you ever see a video of somebody that's doing a very mundane task, like cutting a watermelon, but
Oh
they're like
yeah, oh
fucking
yeah,
insanely good at it, and
yep,
you're like, you still watch it with
oh
like
yeah,
awe. You're still like,
oh
or
yeah,
like you watch somebody bagging groceries, like, and you're
yeah.
like, holy fuck, it's the same thing. Like you have that, like when you do something like that, like we did this show at this coffee shop too, and this was another one of those experiences where it was like we walked in there, it was a cool little artsy coffee shop. We didn't know what to expect as far as a crowd or like what the reaction would be because it's kind of a mellow spot. But like, man, I performed and then I stood in the front while Denku performed, and it was a two-tier coffee shop, and there was probably 25, 35 people in this place, and split between the bottom stairs and then upstairs. And upstairs there was a little, like there was a cutout so you could see up. It was like a balcony. And when he was doing his call and response, you could hear from both tiers
Yeah.
the people in the crowd responding, and it was just like that was that culture that like just soaks into you.
Yeah.
And then when I got done, this guy at the front came up to me and handed me this,
That's
He
fire.
drew this while I was performing
Yeah.
on the back of like a local like piece of paper
So
advertisement.
I
Like
feel like I saw that. Did you post that up on Facebook or something like that?
that,
I
I
feel like
think it's my profile picture right now.
yeah,
But like
yeah.
that's the thing is like that's what really like
Yep.
makes you feel like okay,
Ah,
this is
it
why I
makes it
do
worth
this.
it.
Like
It makes it worth it. You know what I'm
makes
saying?
it it's
So
gravy because it's like I do this for me,
Yep,
and I'm sure you guys do this for you because it's
yep.
like I know firsthand from both of you guys because you guys have both blessed me in my inbox at times where you do something you're really proud of, and I've done the same for you guys. You do something where you're like, I fucking murdered this shit. Check this
yeah,
shit
but
out.
Pester, you know what we never talked about that night is we never talked about the motherfucking cheesesteaks afterwards.
Dude, I've been talking about those cheesesteaks to people all the time. Anytime I talk to somebody that
The
talks
good
about
fucking
these QT,
cheesesteaks.
I'm like, yo, you ever go to Marquette? There's this
It's the
they got
weirdest.
late night
It's
cheesesteaks.
the place you would never think of that would
Yeah.
have fire cheesesteaks. This little.
It's like a New York.
It's
It's a
literally
New
like
York
a
place.
closet with a fucking grill in it, with the fucking vinyl player up top that they're bumping music on vinyl, and then they're cooking shit on the grill and handing it out a fucking window and like a random makeshift door or whatever. It's like the smallest spot I ever seen in my whole life. But man,
That's dope. I
fucking
That
love
is
shit
fire.
like that, bro. Little surprises like that. You're like, I don't know. And then you walk inside, you're like, damn, that was the best side of fries I ever had in my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo,
yeah.
what the fuck?
It's like
Something can
it's
be
a
like that,
place
bro.
in Upper Michigan that
Yeah.
feels like it got literally cut out of like Philadelphia or New York City. Like even the building style and like
Yeah.
the vinyl record. They were playing a fucking Biggie record on
We
vinyl, and they were
my
rapping along. Like
my
Yeah.
restaurant, the restaurant I manage at is like that, bro. It's like a little hole in the wall, little diner style type of restaurant, and but we're on like a major highway out here in the mountains, and like people stop in all the time, you know. And I always tell people this is the best hole in the wall you'll ever stop at, and then when they look at the reviews online, you know what I'm saying? It's all 5-star reviews, all of them, and they're looking around like this fucking place. And I'm like, yo, I'm telling you right now, like this would be the best chicken sandwich you ever fucking had in your life. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, and then you get them like, you know, they'll come walking back after they're done eating, like, yo, that was the best chicken sandwich I ever fucking had. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yo, you wouldn't
That's
even
what it
know it.
is.
You drive by this fucking building 30 times a day and not even notice it. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I
well, it's
love
like
shit
you
like that.
guys too. Is and me and I think a lot of MCs like that that are just lethal. You walk around in everyday life. Like you
Yep.
ain't walking around like a fucking wearing all these chains and these
See
fucking
now for
diamonds and
me,
shit.
I
You ain't
kind of
like
am like an anomaly out here. You know what I'm saying? Because like
yeah,
I am up in a fucking mining town. I am up in a fucking a national forest. You know what I'm saying? Like people ain't built like me out here. They're hardened. You know what I'm saying? Like people out here are
right.
hardened. You got to be to maintain and survive and live out here. Like, you know, but you know, I go walking into the local little bodega type spot, and the second I walk in, they already have my cigarettes on the counter. They know my name. They ask me how I'm fucking doing. And there I am in like my God Division hoodie with my God Division chain on and a fucking hat switched to the side like this. And I got big baggy jeans on. And people are looking at me and I'm just like, yo, I don't give a fuck. Like I'll stand out here. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm like one of a kind out where I'm at. You know what I mean? Like people, you know, it makes me stand out though. You know what I mean? It doesn't help that I'm fucking 6'2", 245. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah. People
Well,
are
you know,
already looking at
I'm
you.
yeah,
definitely
well,
an anomaly out here. You know
I'm
what I mean?
and it's probably not just where you're at. I'm talking about. I've been to Colorado. There's not rugged dudes in Colorado. Like
Not
I've
everywhere.
walked around fucking Denver and there's
Yeah.
not rugged dudes.
Denver's
You know what I'm
mad
saying?
bougie now. Well, it depends on where you go, but you know what I'm saying?
Well, and
Like
Denver's one
like the vibe, just the vibe. Like I wouldn't expect to hear somebody or see somebody look or sound like you out there is what
Yeah.
I'm basically saying.
Yeah, I know. A lot of the MCs even that are like locally grown, like homegrown Colorado MCs, they definitely have their own vibe, like you just said, like their own sound and shit. I fuck with like I met a few of them. I fuck with a few of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, but they definitely have their own kind of style out here. Their own. It's like you had mentioned Choclair earlier, who's a different type of Canadian MC. You know what I'm saying? And an old school, but like a lot of these newer Canadian MCs, a lot of them have that same kind of sound. Like you could tell that this is like some Canuck hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, they have their sound. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's what it is. And maybe Canada's a big fucking place. You know what I mean? But like, it maybe is like a certain demographic or a region and shit. But whatever. Like, you could tell. You know what I mean? When I first heard Choclair, it was like I was shocked as shit to hear that he was Canadian. I was like, there's
Yeah.
no way this dude ain't from fucking New England, somewhere in New England. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, that shit. It's crazy. It's crazy. Different places definitely have their own sound. And Colorado has its. You know what I'm saying? I honestly was surprised at the scene that is out here. You have a lot of implants out here too, though. You know what I'm saying? Like me, Pera is out in Denver now, and he's from fucking Queens. You know what I'm saying? So like you got a lot of implants out here from outside of Colorado too that are starting to kind of influence the sound that's going on out here. But yeah, no, I love that kind of shit, bro. I want to stand out in a crowd. I want to be different and
Yeah.
shit. You know what I'm saying? And then once people talk to me and shit like that, they realize like I'm more like them than they think that I am. You know what I mean? Like, I'll be out there, I'll chop fucking 2 or 3 cord of wood by myself, by hand out there. You know what I'm saying? Like in my God Division hoodie, motherfucker. You're like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't give a shit.
Mhm.
Like, so I'm not averse to hard work, and that's what they like about me, and that's how I fit in out here. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of. I'm not gonna go snowboarding. I'm not skiing. You know what I'm saying? I might pick up hunting. I was thinking about fucking getting myself a rifle and going like, seeing if I can't bag me an elk or something like that at some point in time. But that's me. That's how I would like I said, you ain't gonna catch me on a fucking snowboard. You know what I mean? But you might catch me out in the woods, ducked down with some camo on and a fucking rifle in my hand, like ready to get some venison, bitch. Like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Like that's how I'm gonna move.
Yeah, no, I feel that. I feel
You know
that.
what I mean? But
Well,
yeah,
and like Denku, I know Denku's one that like, and this is still a dream of mine, is to be walking around with Denku and come across some like younger kid that's like a hot shot, thinks he can rap and battle and stuff, and have him bump into Denku, and Denku be like, "Yo, apologize," and him be
yeah,
like, "I'll fucking tear you up," and then Denku just rip him to shreds off top because they'd be like, "This guy, like
yeah,
what?" Like you just see
yeah,
Denku and you don't know what he does, and you don't
yeah,
see him. If you just see him outside of like a show or something, you would never expect that this guy could just like beatbox like crazy, fucking vocal
yo,
scratch like crazy. He's
I
like
love it.
doing all this crazy shit. It's just like you got this unassuming like,
Yeah,
and
no
that's
one,
the
no
thing
one,
that
no
I
one,
always
no one
admire is
expects.
like
Yeah,
from
I love that
from
shit.
from dudes that have like that kind of work ethic is like, man, it's this is a motherfucker, and you see this people that have a job or you got to support yourself some way,
Yup.
and then you're doing that much work for yourself, like even if it was in something that I don't personally fuck with, if you were sewing shit and you have that much drive, it's like as a human you have to admire that to some
Mhm.
degree, like that
Mhm.
drive, that passion, and it's like you hope that rubs off on people because it's like it's rare these days. There's not that many people that are
Nah.
self-motivated to really
Well,
put work in and excel at stuff.
this was always something that like when I was way younger, like a little jit, I was always the dude that would like write little poems for my mom and shit like that, or write short stories for her. The fucking kid in the castle and the dragon and all that kind of shit. My imagination would come through on page. That's just always how I was. I could never draw. I was never artistic like that, but it was always my words. And I was really good. I was really always really good about rhyming words together and making it make sense and things like that at just a young age. And even before I had any aspirations of wanting to become a rapper at all. I was writing raps without even actually knowing it. Like I would write like parodies of Run DMC songs or fucking Will Smith songs and put my own perverted little words to them and shit like that. And you know what I mean? And then would start freestyling with the homies and shit at like 12, 13 years old, sitting around just fucking around saying a bunch of dumb shit. You know what I mean? And not even realizing, like we were talking about earlier, I'm honing my craft. You know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't even, and then Wu Tang came out, and then Mobb Deep was hitting, and I fell in love with that aspect of it. I was like, man, now this is gonna become something completely different than me writing poems to my mom. You know what I'm saying? Like now, like I want to write songs for people to listen to. I was also always the dude that always had like the homemade mixtapes for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Because I was a music.
I was that dude.
Yep, I was a music fiend, bro. And I would sit there. I would take 2-3 hours, press and record and pause from tape deck to tape deck and shit like that, and fucking and all my homies and all my girlfriends and all that shit. They would always request for me to make them mixtapes and shit like that. So I've always been a junkie, like with hip hop and music in general, really, but mostly hip hop. You know what I'm saying? So it just manifested, but it started at a young age. It wasn't something that at fucking 27 or something like that. You know what I mean? So I always knew I was going to do something with my words. You know what I mean? I like Pesto, like I said, he's a fucking anomaly. You know what I mean? For somebody to pick it up so late, you know what I mean? Not that he's some old fucking croon or something like that or nothing. You know what I mean? But like to pick it up, you know what I mean? But like he may act like it sometimes. To pick it up at such a late stage and shit like that, later than most, and be so ill at it. You know what I mean? When we were talking earlier about like how you just sound distinct and shit like that. I always love Pesto's fucking his ad libs when he goes in and he has that breathy, like at the end of every bar. You know what I'm saying? He has like that breath. And I'm like, that's your funk right there. You know what I'm saying? Like that's Pesto's shit. You know what I mean?
That's his Buster Rhyme lives, son.
Yo, if Pesto was fucking high speed dubbed and they changed his voice, and then I heard that at the end of the bar, I'm like, oh, that's Pesto. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like for real. And I love it. Like you stand out from the crowd. It's fuck the mask. You know what I'm saying? Listen to your shit. Listen to your shit. I'm like,
he also has the crazy workhorse ethic.
Exactly.
A lot of people ain't got that shit.
Yep. Every time I talk to Pesto on the phone, he's always on some fucking. He's very geeked to be working on something new. He's very geeked to be working on this tour with you. He's very geeked and passionate about this art form as a whole. You know what I mean? And anything that he can work on that he's interested in, he sinks his fucking teeth into it and doesn't let go until he feels like he's got it locked and mastered. And you know what I mean? And he's still a fucking junkie with this shit. We were talking last night, he named off like 11 artists in a row I never even fucking heard of. You know what I mean? And I'm like, yo, I'm always that dude.
Well, what's the artist? I want to hear it now. What's the artist?
What's the
artist?
Oh man, like
I was talking about like A$AP Rock and all them dudes, but you were seeing like other people that were in that kind of realm of hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's like Cage. I think I don't know, Homeboy, Sandman, Decca, all those kind of cats.
And those dudes, like I never even heard of. I heard of Cage. You know what I'm saying? The A$AP Rock, obviously, but I never heard of any of the other dudes that you brought up. You know what I mean? And I was like, damn, like. That they just reached you. They haven't reached me. You know what I'm saying? But that's dope.
It's like I get
K Reno. We were talking about K Reno.
K Reno, yeah, we talked about K Reno.
No offense.
Scarface.
No offense at all. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, once I did get put on, I was like, dude, this dude's fucking amazing. You know what I'm saying? But I had never heard of him until I saw the fucking Grind Mode Cypher that y'all did down there. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, oh shit, who the fuck is this dude? And like everybody was revering him. So obviously I'm gonna look him up. And I was like, damn, this dude's how the fuck has he skipped my radar?
Well, and that's another work ethic, dude.
Yeah, I mean, K Reno to me, I heard of him because he used to get early comparisons to Cannabis.
Right.
He was people said he was like the Texas Cannabis is basically what I would hear people say. And then they would put like K Reno verses next to Cannabis verses, and people would be like, check this shit out, it's kind of crazy. Like, why don't they have a record together and all this? And that was my jump start with K Reno.
He's
as far
dope.
as that, definitely dope.
But yeah, like I said, there's still shit out there, man. There's still shit out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But again, like I said, at the end of the day, like, like I bought Cool G Rap's last album. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, I'm always gonna be a bigger fan of that. That's Chris Rock said, whatever music you were listening to when you first started getting laid is the music you're gonna listen to for the rest of your life. Can you imagine little Gams and his first piece of ass, and I'm banging 4, 5, 6 in the background? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's me though. Like, that's me. I was listening to Mobb Deep and fucking and Screwball and Tragedy Gaddafi and shit like that. So like, that's the type of shit I'm always gonna be influenced by, and I'm always gonna love that kind of shit.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean? So as I've gotten older, my palate has has matured. You know what I'm saying? So I listen to different types of shit, but that's my shit. Like that rugged, street, gritty, dirty. You know what I mean? Like I love that kind of shit. You know, and obviously Cool G Rap is Cool G Rap. I mean, the fucking dude. You know, that's my goat.
Did you hear the LL Eminem remix? Did you hear that?
Nah,
There's a there's a song out. It's supposed to be on Eminem's new record where he's got a collaboration with LL. It's called Murdergram.
really?
And there's a lot of I made a post about it the other day. There's a lot of people that think that Eminem potentially may have written the LL part, because I'm not gonna lie to you. I feel like I'm not a huge Eminem fan. I
Right.
have always hated his voice. I,
Hi.
I think he has great punchlines, like
Yeah,
amazing writer,
yeah, battle
great
rapper.
punchlines. But voice stylistically, I was never
Yeah,
big on. But um LL on this fucking song, crazy.
really?
But there's people that said, I've never heard LL rhyme like that ever before in my life. I think Eminem wrote that shit. And
Mm,
maybe he did. But I
yeah.
don't know. But would LL let that happen? I don't know what
See,
I don't know the type of person LL Cool J is. I don't know if he would be, he's one of the first people that said he was the GOAT in hip
right,
hop. You know what I'm saying?
right.
So, like, is that dude getting ghostwriters? I don't know if he's getting ghostwriters.
You probably remember it was what 10, 15 years ago or so, and it was like it started to become a big thing with ghostwriters coming out of the woodwork, um, and talking about the people that they collabed with and they wrote for. And obviously, you got your Dre's and your Diddy's and people like that who aren't
Yeah,
necessarily MCs and
we
shit.
knew that
But
already. We
then
knew that.
you had what's his name? The fuck's his name that was like ghostwriting for Lil Wayne? Uh his name starts with like a G. And then there's fucking Mad Skills, who was fucking ghostwriting for a bunch of people, and fucking Sauce Money was ghostwriting for a bunch of people, and you nobody ever knew that until it started like becoming like a in thing, like a fad for people to come out and start taking credit for the shit that they were writing. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure it's still very prevalent now. You know what I'm saying? They say like Eminem wrote all of Dre's verses for 2001, like every single one of them. You know what I mean?
Well,
Or like
yeah.
Jay-Z wrote The Watcher. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever. Like it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like
Nas wrote the Foxy verse.
Nas wrote Foxy's verse. Yeah, like so. It is what it is. Like there's shit like that. I think that happens all the fucking time. Yo, Prodigy on Juvenile Hell said fucking Havoc wrote all the verses. You know what I'm saying? And then when you think about what they became, and it was like, well, now Havoc is the producer, and he's kind of like he's alleged he's dope, but like Prodigy on a whole nother level lyrically, and how he's coming across spitting in his game and shit like that. But he started with Hav writing all his verses and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I think there's stories like that all over the place. I don't dig too much into it. I would think that if there was somebody out there that was very prominent, that was getting all their verses written by somebody else, that's a little bit of a different story. You know what I'm saying? But for LL to jump on Eminem's track and M to write his, if it happened, if it was true, I would have no issues with that. You know what I'm saying? Like it is what it is. I mean, LL's he's got to be like fucking 60. And looks
Now,
built like he's
now
fucking 24
I'm
still. You know what
looking
I'm
it up
saying?
right
But like
now. Now I'm gonna look it up.
he's got to
Probably
be up there. He's got
probably
to
been a
be up
lot of
there.
steroids.
I mean, the man's been out. I think he was dropping. Like I was born in '82.
He's 56.
He's 56, so yeah, he's almost 60. I was born in
Yeah.
82. That was like when he was walking into Rick Rubin's office. You know what I mean? Like that fucking dude's been around forever. Forever. I give mad credit to him. He's definitely never been one of my favorite MCs, but he's always been somebody I revered as like, that dude's been out there a long, long, long,
Yeah,
long
he
time.
was. Yeah, he was
A long-
always dope.
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely not. I mean, there's not a
He's for
lot
the
of
ladies,
records.
bro.
There's not a lot of records that I. Well, early he wasn't really.
No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't.
He changed that whole shit like late 90s, early 2000s, and he
Yeah.
was ladies man and shit. That's
Yeah.
when he fucking started taking his shirt off and
Licking
fucking
his
showing all
lips.
the doing all that weird shit. But he was always he always had some joints on records. But Pestilence,
did.
what do you think about Ghostwriter?
I mean, I don't. So for me, I just like don't understand it because like to me, writing is like one of my favorite parts.
Yeah.
Like all the other shit is like, I mean, like okay, so performing it, spitting it's fun. Like those are just doing the craft is fun, but like fucking having to put together the record, find all the shit, put it through distribution, all like the legwork and stuff like that. Like that's the shit that I'm like, if I could have a ghost that shit, like that would be cool. But writing, like, why the fuck would I let somebody take that away from me? Like,
Right.
that's like one of my favorite parts of doing it. Like, that's the therapeutic release. That's like one of the
But
like. I don't
those
know
are
how
the
you could
people.
be as.
Those
I don't know how you could get as proud if you didn't do it yourself.
because
Right.
those are the people that are in it for the fame.
Right.
They're not in it for the art. They're in it to be the spotlight artist. Those are those people. That's who those people are. Those are those.
They want to be trending on Twitter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they don't care about the art. It's
No.
like what's his name? God damn it, I can't. The guy that Young Jeezy.
Yeah.
He even admitted he wasn't a rapper. Like he admitted he wasn't a rapper.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's what he's known for, like that shit. But he always just wanted spotlight shit. He wanted to be in the spotlight. He didn't
Yeah.
care about. And I made a post way back in the day asking, "What are y'all rappers in this shit for? Are y'all in it
Yeah.
for the art, the fame, or the lifestyle?" And a majority of the responses were not the art. It was
Right.
not the art at all.
Right. Well, you could see like there was a shift at some point. You know what I mean? And I don't think there's any individual to blame or anything like that, but there was a shift that happened where MCs and hip hop went from if you were rapping about money, you were rapping about not having it. You were rapping about struggling. You were rapping about trying to get the fuck up out of that shit. Most of those dudes from like the late 80s and early 90s in that crack era that were rapping and funding their shit off of fucking crack sales weren't rapping about crack. They were rapping about fucking getting themselves up out the hood and bettering their neighborhoods and shit like that and getting the fuck out of there. Now it's like it's a token. It's something to carry around with you and shit like that. Like these guys are either going to be rapping about how much money they have, which they really probably don't, or they're going to be rapping about how much drugs they fucking sell. And it's like blatant now. And that's all that they're talking about. You know what I mean? So like it switched from like the struggle to I'm better than you because I have more money than you already. You know what I'm saying? It's like, well, what, just like you just said, then what the fuck are you doing this for? You know what I mean? Why do you even need this? So it shit got corny to me. I don't like that kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't like that kind of shit. I could give a fuck if you know Big Meech, the real Big Meech. You know what I'm saying? Like, get the fuck out of here with that shit. I don't fucking care. But that became a thing, and now there's the trickle effect, and now it's turned into what we have now. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah. Well, you still have the poppy, the poppy little whoever's. You still got all those dudes that are in the spotlight still, and then now you got this surge of the gutter street people that people love because they're harder than the pussy world we're in right now.
Right.
That's what it is. That's why people love that, because they're still like their image is hard as fuck in a world of pussies. Is
Yep.
what it is.
And it is a world of fucking pussies now too. You know what I mean? I admire anybody who's not afraid to speak their mind, especially in this day and age. You know what I mean? Whether it's lyrically or just talking to a crowd of people or whatever. Like anybody who's not afraid to speak their mind and shit and say something. Like, come on, bro. Like I've been in the restaurant business for a long fucking time, and this is just what I do. And in the kitchens and the restaurants, we all still jab at each other, little racist jokes and poke at each other and shit like that. It's like, yo, this is just what we do. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we were ever in a different, I could picture us in a different setting saying the same things to each other that we're saying in the kitchen, and everybody looking at us like, what did they just say? You know what I'm saying? Like, don't fucking worry about what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like, we're fucking with each other. Like that, you know what I mean? It's just everybody's just so concerned with what everybody else thinks and shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's just fucked up. It's fucked up. I think there's a lot of people out there whose feelings need to be fucking hurt constantly until they shut the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? It's fucking crazy.
Yeah,
You know?
I agree. There are those out there. It's 100% well-known fact.
And well, they're everywhere now. That's the
Yeah.
shit. It's the
Well,
Karen
I think
culture.
it's precedents. Yeah, precedents were set where some people were punished for actions that are associated with like the speaking your mind. Like they're people that spoke their mind, but also did other treacherous shit, like trying to
Well,
like take advantage of women and do shit like that. So then the speaking your mind element and saying stuff immediately became associated with being an actual deplorable human being. And it's
right.
like
Well, you're
these are
offending
two
people.
separate things. Yeah, like
You're offending
being
people.
offensive
Yeah.
is not a crime, and it's not something that we should try to cull in our culture at all, because it's something where it's like the world in reality is hard. Like the actual world is harder than somebody insulting you or you getting, fucking roasted. Like, yeah, people should learn to be able to take a joke or take a fucking like not everybody's gonna fucking like you. And that
Yeah.
goes for every single person. Like the bigger somebody gets, the more people that like them, the more people that dislike them. And it goes and it splits, and it's like that you just gotta be prepared for that. And it's
Yeah.
like doesn't matter how if you're doing something where you're gonna become well known or if you're just a fucking dude that has a family and lives his own life, you're still gonna interact with other human beings and there's
Yeah.
gonna be
Yeah.
people that don't fuck with you. And that's cool, man. We don't all have to fucking get along, but you
Yeah.
shouldn't fucking ruin your life and somebody else's over your fucking feelings about somebody saying something you didn't like.
Well, the
Spark
thing
a
is, like
fucking
the shit that
dialogue,
you're being
man.
offended about is just the words. You know what I'm saying? That they're being
Right.
offended. It's just like okay, like there's a YouTube channel that I watch called Explore with Us, and it's like it'll be showing like interrogations and like crazy ass crimes and stuff
Oh,
like that.
I watched
But
that
like
when I was in the
so
hospital last
they'll
time.
describe they'll describe in great detail what happened, but then the word is blocked out. So like they
Yeah.
can describe the action, but once they say the word rape or say the word murder,
Yeah,
it's,
it's
it's
cut
muted
out.
out. And I'm like, you just literally described everything in detail, but then you said the fucking word, and you can't put that word out anywhere. You know what I mean? And I'm like, but you just talked about it in detail.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like it's just stupid shit. It's stupid shit like that. Like everybody needs to wake the fuck up. Everybody needs to woke the fuck up.
We can't allow fucking censorship. I mean,
It's horrible.
Yeah,
that's
it's
how you
crazy.
lose
It's
freedom.
crazy.
If you allow the freedom of speech to be taken away, then you're gonna start losing more and more of your rights. It's like you have to be able to say fucking whatever you want to say. I mean,
Yeah.
actions and words are two different things, and people have greatly misconstrued that in recent times. And that's not to say that if somebody goes out there and says some fucked up shit, like if you went on a fucking podcast and started spewing out fucking racial slurs and obscenities and stuff like that, that you're gonna get shit back. And
Yeah.
that should you open yourself up to that, and that's fucking cool. Like somebody says some horrible shit, says whatever, then call them a piece of shit. Say that's fucked
Look,
up. You suck for that.
look at what happened. Look at what's
You
going on
know?
with Alex Jones right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The dude just lost like $3 billion
Yeah.
fucking dollars over some shit that he said. That was fucking extremely insensitive. Whether it's true or not, I'm not the fucking expert there. You know what I'm saying? But like, these are
Oh,
real families with little kids
yeah.
that shit actually happened, regardless of how. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you know, but he opened up his fucking mouth. He has his opinion. He's entitled to it. You know what I'm saying? But respect the consequences. You know what I mean? And what the
Right.
fuck's gonna happen there? And he got shut the fuck down. Yo, it's like $2.5 billion, bro, that he owes to these families. I was
Yeah,
like, oh
and
my
see,
God.
and that's crazy to me. Like
Yeah, it is crazy.
that's like the identical thing. Even though I'm not a fan of him, don't really like him as a person, but
Right, right,
that's like the identical thing of what happened to Kanye.
Yeah, the
right.
200,000 a month. Like, what the fuck is that?
Not
Yep.
even that. I'm talking about before that. I'm talking about when he went on Drink Champs and
Oh
spazzed
yeah.
out and
Yep.
basically lost all his endorsement deals and went from $6 billion net worth to 400 million. That's
Yep.
crazy.
Yeah.
That
Yep.
happened overnight in the snap of a finger. The
Yep.
fact that that is even a thing to me
It's
is
crazy.
crazy.
Yeah. You know, you're not allowed. That's what I'm saying. You have to pussyfoot, sugarcoat shit, and be careful about what you say because you're going to offend somebody. And when you're somebody that big, unfortunately, the people that you're offending are people that are going to be able to pull the rug out from under you for real. You know what I'm saying? And it's fucked up. It's
Yeah.
fucked up.
I mean,
And just
it's
stop
even
somebody dead in their tracks like
yeah.
that.
I mean, it's even like I saw recently. I mean, one of my favorite shows that I've been watching, The Boys. I saw that the new season's getting a lot of
Yeah.
backlash,
Yeah.
but I'm
Yep.
like, have y'all not
It's,
watched for 3 seasons already?
it's political.
Right.
We talk about it's political now. It's too
Like
political.
it didn't just start. Like all the seasons are crazy like this.
Yeah.
It's one of the most watched and fucking highly regarded shows on the planet for the last 3 or 4 years. And then this new season came out, and everybody's what do they call it? The critic bombing. They go on Rotten Tomatoes and they just bomb it just to do it. You know what I mean? Like, yo, that show is dope to me. I'm like, yo, that show is so sick. What the fuck
Yeah.
are they
It's so
talking
dope.
about? I don't know, bro. You know what I mean? I mean, it's a far cry from the fucking Acolyte. That's for damn sure.
I don't mind the Acolyte.
You know why? Because you got kids. You got kids. That would be something my daughter would be watching. You know what I'm saying? And really thoroughly enjoying. It's not, again, it's not what it is. I feel like there's an agenda. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like it's right in your face, and it starts bothering me to where I can't enjoy the show for what it is. Because for the
Oh,
most part, a lot of those shows that have like a
but see,
lot of those shows that have come out and people started panning them, I was like, yo, I kind of fuck with it. You know what I'm saying? The Obi-Wan and the fucking the Mandalorian and all those the Ahsoka, and I was like, yo, I liked them. I was like, these are dope. I liked the new Star Wars movies. You know what I'm saying? I was like, these are
I liked
dope.
all of them. I liked them.
People fucking don't fuck with them. But like when I saw this show, I think it was because I walked into it with preconceived notions because I read a couple of reviews first before I started watching it, and it had my head already in a certain space. And so then I started picking out the things that they were talking about, and it just lit me up. I was like, damn. I was like, it really is an agenda. It really is. I don't know. That's just how I feel personally. Um, like I watched The Willow. You know what I'm saying? Willow was
Yeah,
one of my
yeah,
favorite movies when I was a kid, bro. Like,
yeah.
still
Yep.
is. And I watched that show and I was like, it's pretty dope. It's a little, wokish, I guess, but I enjoyed it just for the nostalgia. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, no, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. You know, a lot of shows. I just feel like sometimes like there's casting that's being done just to insert a certain demographic of people and to appease to a certain demographic.
Oh yeah, there definitely is. There
You
definitely
know
is
what I
that.
mean?
There
So,
definitely
and
is.
that
Absolutely.
takes away from the enjoyment for me of being able to just sit there and lose myself in a show. You know what I mean? So I watch House of the Dragon. You know what I mean? And be like,
Yeah,
yo,
but I
they don't
I
give a
look
fuck
at
what
it
anybody
like,
thinks.
yeah, I look at it though like, I think for a lot of them it's an attempt to sell more. And I
Right.
can understand that element of it because it's like branding has been doing that for a long time. Nike's been doing that.
Oh
All
yeah.
these brands have been doing that, trying to just sell more shit. If it doesn't interrupt or destroy the entire like dialogue or sense of the show, it doesn't bother me. It's in the rare cases where it's something where it's like the entire thing is trying to like be politically correct and all these things everywhere, and it destroys like what a show is. So like if it is a like if the boys got fucking wokeified and politically corrected, it'd be like that would ruin that show,
Yeah,
because that shows a big part of the appeal to that show is that
they don't
you
give a
don't know what
fuck.
the fuck's gonna
Yeah,
happen, and they don't care. So
yeah.
that's even more you don't know what the fuck's gonna happen, because they could do some horrifying shit at any time. And
Well,
it's like those
I
are
think the
shows that
irony
like
is I think the irony is that, you know, as these companies are trying to appeal to a broader audience, they're actually isolating and pushing away certain audiences. You know what I mean? Obviously, you got your purists, which I'm not with shit like that. I just enjoy a show to enjoy a show. But like, you have your purists out there that'll let's talk about the Star Wars shit. That'll be like, you know, this person wasn't this way, or this person should have been cast that way, or they're ruining it, and blah 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? But like, just somebody who's sitting down wanting to watch a fucking TV show with their kids and doesn't necessarily want them being influenced by shit like that. Ben Shapiro talks about it all the time. Like, I won't let my kids watch shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm like,
Yeah.
damn, that shit is crazy. So you're actually, by trying to appeal to a broader audience, you're isolating and pushing away a certain part of your audience, and probably the bigger portion of them. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. It's just kind of crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I'm the
My
same.
music, I ain't gonna fucking
yeah.
appeal to nobody with my music. My music is my music. My head's listening
Yeah.
to my music. I don't give a. I don't need to change my shit for nobody. You know what I'm saying? And like the beauty part is like I could wake up tomorrow and want to write a 3 fucking verse banger about fucking knocking somebody's teeth down their throat, and then an hour later put on some real vibey beat and write about how much I miss my mom's. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like I'm gonna write about my feelings and how I'm feeling in the moment, and I don't give a fuck what anybody like thinks about that shit. You know what I mean? Like, fuck all
Well, it's
that
a
shit.
better way to process the anger than to actually go and knock somebody's fucking teeth down their throat.
You know
So
what I mean? It's
a
healthier.
lot of people don't understand that, and it's like that's something that I, I've always appreciated, and it's something I mentioned I think last week on the when we were talking to Chocolate about like one of my favorite things with Denku and you actually, like you more so like in recording form, I can hear it where it's like when you got a chip on your shoulder that day and there's extra like fucking
Yeah,
anger in your verse and extra stank on it. And for
yeah,
Denku, I've seen it a couple times where it's like somebody pissed him off at a show and then he's like fucking axe murderer Denku, just fucking chopping down fucking trees up there
yeah,
like and he's got the face and it's like ugh, just
yeah.
makes you like fucking
See, with shit
yeah.
like that, to me, it's not like a requirement, but it is important for, especially an MC, to be diverse like that. You know what I'm saying? And like like, you're not gonna hear a ton of Black Poe songs that are very introspective. You know what I'm saying? But he has some. Like he'll go there. You know what I mean? So like it's like I said, it's not a requirement, but it's important. Like I would fuck with an artist more who has different vibes. You know what I'm saying? That way I can listen to your CD in any mood and shit like
Well,
that.
and I think you can tell that they're actually putting emotion in their humanizing what they're doing. Like it's
Right,
not them trying to appeal to people and follow a formula. It's like this is somebody that has had these emotions and put them down in this way, and they're not all the same because
right,
we do feel different fucking ways and different emotions and shit. And I think it is like music is a phenomenal release and outlet for that kind of shit. And it's like
Mm.
that's another reason why the ghostwriting thing doesn't make sense to me, because it's like why would you rob yourself of that like free therapy,
yeah.
that free
Yeah. Yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
session? Like that's
Well,
something
it's,
where
it's
it's
like
like
what Danko was saying, because that was never the point for them anyway. You know what I'm saying? It was to fucking trend on Twitter. It was to be that guy for that moment, your 10 seconds of fame, whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? That's all. Or to maintain an image or a certain image, you know, it's not a
well, and
passion
it's
for them.
for me, that's the thing too, that like, and this ties into the woke culture thing, like with with comedy a lot. Like comedians, like Shane Gillis got canceled before he started on Saturday Night Live, and fortunately he was able to blow back up because he's funny. But it's like I've always been of the mind, as somebody who has suffered some like horrific things. Like I got an ostomy bag at I'm 30 years old.
Mhm.
You know, it's like to have that in your 20s. It's like no person wants that. So it's like I already have the negative of that. How dare you guys try to rob me of being able to laugh about it
Right.
and turn some of the shit to sugar, like
Yep.
and that goes for any kind of tragedy or anything that somebody talks about. Like if you're able to find something positive, be it laughter, be it music, be it whatever it is, like that's a good thing. Like
Mhm.
it's why I don't know why we're trying to stop people from finding good in negative places by saying you can't talk about that because that was a tragedy or that was a this or oh that's going to make people feel uncomfortable. And it's like, well, motherfucker, I have that and it makes me feel more comfortable because it's normalizing that like we're
Yep.
human, we go through different shit. Like
Isn't that the whole point of music too? Like in the creative process and when you're searching for music, it's like you might be feeling a certain way and it might be very extreme emotion that you're having. You know what I'm saying? And you're looking for something to make you either feel better or escape into that and feel more of it. You know what I mean? And let it
right.
go. You know what I mean? So like, it's a beautiful thing, bro. It's a beautiful thing. But I like I said, I like being a little bit versatile. Like I said, I tend to sway more towards obviously that punch you in the face aggressive shit because that's just what I like. I like punching people in the face. You know what I'm saying? But
Well, that's why, like
you know what I
I
mean? But
told you,
like, no,
when
that's just the shit that I listen to the most. You know what I'm saying? That's the shit that gets
Yeah,
me
yeah,
up
yeah.
and ready to rock. You know what I mean? So that's gonna be my
that's like
style
when
predominantly.
fucking Heck asked me to get on that track and said Gamblez is on this track. I was like, okay, fucking
Yeah,
bet. I'm gonna throw some hard bodies, some fucking weird, wicked punchlines in here because I know Gambles is gonna be on this joint, and that's something I appreciate about your art form. So I was like, I'm gonna play into that because I know that that's what's going to be brought to the table, and I like that shit. Let's make
yeah.
this one of those joints. Like, let's make that vibe, and then I love when that
That,
shit comes together like that, and it's
that's
like
another
that's
thing.
another
That's
mark
that's
of
another
people
that's
that
another
are
lost part of this shit is like when you feature on somebody's track, like, and it ain't even a disrespectful way because it's not like you're going at somebody on the track, but it's like you wanna steal the show.
Of
You know what I'm saying?
course.
You
Friendly
want to be that
competition.
one that
That's what it
makes.
is.
You know what I'm saying? Like what the track Pesto was just talking about. When I heard Pesto's verse, I was thinking, I was like, yo, I gotta rewrite my verse. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, bro. Like, and I love that kind of a feeling. It's friendly competition. You know what I mean? Like you got to get on somebody's track and you got to blow their fucking minds. If I'm asking you to jump on a track, don't hit me with a fucking verse and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? I threw a fucking track to Denku and he said, "What's the track about?" I said, "It's kind of like an homage to Mob Deep." You know what I mean? Fucking 20 minutes later, he sent me an entire fucking verse that every fucking bar was like, it was like an album name or one of their track names or something like that in the punchline and shit like that. And I was like, oh my God, he got it. And that's exactly what it was. You know what I mean? Don't just hit me with a fucking verse and shit like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yo, go all out. Hit me with some bars, bro. Like, let's fucking get it. And I think people are
I
lazy with shit like that. You know what I mean?
I
Even
agree.
independent
Like
rappers and shit. Like, we'll take your money and then hit you with a verse that they've already given to somebody else type of shit. You know what I mean?
Mm.
I'm like, yo, come on, bro.
You
yeah,
gotta
that
call
shit's whack as fuck.
that the copyright syndrome.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like that shit is
yeah.
fucked
No
up.
disrespect, but I know he's done that to people.
it's it's fucked up. It's
See,
fucked
I
up.
can appreciate it from somebody like copyright because it fits his entire persona. Like, if you're gonna be kind of grimy and kind of like rugged and ruthless, like him, Necro's another example of that. I'm like, all right, they're living their fucking truth. I can't be mad at that. But like the people that are doing it and pretending like they're making opportunities for artists or that they're
Yeah, I
doing
hate
stuff for
that.
artists,
I
and
hate
this
that.
is something that like is good to touch on too, because I know we've talked about like the Anno Domini M80 Legion beat shit
Yeah.
a lot of times on this show and other things and how fucking whack that formula is. And it's actually funny because I saw Denku post something about AZ canceling a tour, and his was one that I just saw doing like I think it was for either Legion or M80. It was like him in a car advertising a verse for people, and I was like, dude, come on.
Hey,
Terror
And
beats.
tour didn't work out, man. Hey, you
yeah,
know that, but that's the thing. Before we completely get out of here, because we have been talking for a minute, but um, I want to talk about the golden era MCs that are expecting golden era money in today's age for what they did in the golden era. That's not
Right.
happening no more. So
Nah.
it I mean, we saw with the Method Man Summer
Yup.
Jam shit. We
Yup.
saw, and now we're seeing it with all these golden era MCs trying to book US tours and canceling them before they start because they're not getting the ahead ticket sales. So they think they're not going to hit their quota automatically, which they're probably not, because here, that shit, they don't care here. They don't
Right.
care about that shit here. Like the younger generation don't give a fuck about your record from the 90s. They do
Right.
not give a fuck. They don't
Yup.
care at all.
Yup. Yeah, it's terrible. You don't like actually like Nas and Wu when they did their tour seemed like they popped off and did pretty well. You know what I'm saying? But that was different.
They
You know what I mean?
leaped though. They leaped.
Yeah.
They're like the Busta Rhymes. They leaped all the eras. They
Right.
can still do it now for the people. They leaped the eras. But a
Right.
lot of those golden era people that we love, they
Yeah.
didn't leap the eras. They're popping in the UK. They're popping overseas. They could sell out overseas like this because overseas is still in the 90s. But
Yeah.
here it's not. So
Yeah.
those people can't elevate like they want to. Like, I would love to see AZ tour. I would love to see AZ
Yeah.
in Milwaukee. But you know what? Pestilence, if we booked AZ for whatever the fuck he wants, probably $25,000 a show, we're losing the fuck out of our pockets, even to
Yeah.
try to
yeah.
book that shit, because nobody's coming to that. Nobody, you might have maybe 50 people in the door. When I heard about, when I even, and this was even when they were popping, and a lot of New York people have this problem where they think that because they're popping in New York, they're popping everywhere. But
Right.
people don't give a fuck about y'all in the Midwest at all. Like
Yep.
zero. Nobody cares. Because like I heard about this thing back in the day when Boot Camp Click came to Milwaukee and played the rave. And I'm talking about the whole clique, like all of them, like
Yep.
Helter Skelter, like every crew from the whole shit. They all came, fucking Black Moon, all that shit. They were all there. 20 fucking people in their prime,
Wow.
at the
Wow.
rave. Nobody gave a shit. That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying though. And
Well, look
that's
at the
even
fucking
then.
Looney show we did. Look at the Looney show we did.
Yeah,
That show
nobody.
wasn't
Yeah.
popping.
No, it
Nobody
was
was
not
there.
pop.
You
They're
think like
like,
what if AZ had kept it kind of regional? You know what I mean? And was like, I'm only gonna book these shows in clubs and little venues in New York and Philly and Connecticut and shit like that. Do you think it would have made a difference for him?
I think he could have did a small run like that. Yep.
You know what
oh,
I mean?
100%.
And
Like
and I
no
don't
Or he
and I
could
don't
do a
know
audience.
why he
fucking,
didn't. I don't know why he didn't do that. He was
Yeah.
trying to do the whole, like a whole US tour, and a lot of people,
Cause
it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make
yeah,
sense for a lot of people.
yeah.
no,
It's
well,
like
it's
so go ahead.
the ones that transcend are people that like Method Man like continue to be involved in different forms of media and adapt. And it's something I see you do, Denku, with like learning different skills and like making reels and like trying to fuck around with different edits and stuff like that. Like you're continuing to try to adapt because you see stuff changing. I think a lot of those guys think I did this, this was dope. This made me a lot of money. This is how it works. I know how the game works. They
So they
don't
don't want to
realize that
adapt.
the world evolves, things adapt. They haven't appealed. Like you go ask a regular person in anywhere that's not the fucking town that these guys are from, like AZ and stuff like that, who AZ is nowadays. The
Nobody
majority ain't gonna
cares.
fucking know. Even if they're a fucking hip hop fan, they might not know who he is.
Yeah.
Because it's like, what has he been doing to promote himself to the new age or to the world today in the last fucking decade, you know? And it's like a lot of those guys I think lose touch in that way where they don't adapt to the new way of getting yourself out there. And
Right.
it's a shame because a lot of those guys are fucking ill,
Yeah.
They're still
but
dope.
like,
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
still
they're
dope.
still
Yeah.
dope and they can still fucking rhyme like crazy and fucking put on an incredible show, but it's just like no one's gonna ever fucking know about it because they're not
G-Rap
even
was like
trying.
that. We went to a fucking G-Rap show when I first moved out here down at Yo Mama's house out in Denver. It's not the biggest club in the world, you know what I'm saying? And I'm thinking to myself, like, G fucking rap, you know what I mean? Like, I'll travel, I'll ride 5 hours to go to a G-Rap show. You know what I mean? Like, that's my dude. And we got to the fucking show, and there was like 35 people there. And I'm
And
like,
nobody
G
cared.
fucking rap, bro. Like, this is incredible. But just like you just said, we're in Denver.
Yeah.
You know what I
And
mean?
and
We're in
and that
Denver.
and that and that exact same thing would happen in Milwaukee. I would never even touch that show because
Yeah,
G
Yeah.
Rap would want what 10 G's, make
right.
who knows how much G Rap would want now. But like I would not even attempt to touch that. But
Yeah.
I attempt to touch the little independent fucking hip hop shit that's touring because that could maybe make a little mini splash or whatever. Like the Blueprint show wasn't crazy that I did, but it was good. It was
Yeah.
good for what it was. Like in Milwaukee on a fucking Tuesday. There was more people. There was more people, Pestilence, at the Blueprint show on a Tuesday than people that were at the Looney show that we did on the weekend.
Yeah.
There was more
And I think it
people
goes
at
into,
that show.
well, it's like,
Wow.
but look at who the artist is, though. I mean, like, we watched Looney's perform. They came, they did fucking 20-minute set, yelled at the sound guy,
It was
rapped over
not.
their
It was
vocals,
crazy. They didn't
were
even do
fucking
any songs I liked.
terrible. They didn't give a fuck. They didn't give a fuck. Like, they're just trying to rest on the laurels, And it's like Blueprint's a dude that, like, is gonna come and fucking bleed and sweat on that stage. And I think that's the thing that it's like, people like that understand because it's like, yeah, maybe in the 90s you were able to just go out there and kind of mail it in and you were popping so much that you were going to make that money and sell that show out regardless of how much you put in. But it's like, if you want that longevity though, even if you were one of the fucking coldest of your era and you can still spit like that, you got to continue to fucking work, man. You can't just
Yeah.
retire basically from the work aspect of it and try to continue to
Yeah,
live off
and
of
and
what
they,
you
and
did
they love they
yesterday.
yeah, and they got that fucking pinnacle. They got that high
Yeah.
level pinnacle arc that they were on, and they were like, "This is what I need to get all the time." Not realizing that the world still moves, even though you're stuck at this pinnacle. The world is still moving. So
Yeah.
That's not how jobs work. You don't go
no,
to work
exactly,
on
exactly.
Monday and make all your money and then not work Tuesday. You got to
Yeah.
keep working, man.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of these guys too, when like they had those couple of few big hip hop 50 shows in
Yeah,
those stadiums and shit. Like, yo, those stadiums were fucking packed. And they had everybody. There was a lot of people they didn't have, but they had everybody, all kind of crazy people. And I think that some of these guys looked at that like, oh, we're back. Like now let's book a tour, let's go do this, let's go do
yeah,
that, and then set themselves up for disappointment. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Nostalgia is
No,
definitely a big thing, but
yeah.
it's not a national thing. It's a
Nope.
special event thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like, so
I'll give you the plain example. Like 20, what was it? Maybe 2010? Might have been 20, it might have been 2008 or 2009. Sadat X came here shortly after Brand Nubian was still people still knew Brand Nubian,
yeah,
but Sadat X came here and there was 10 people at the show. 10 people at the
yeah,
show. Nobody gave a shit at all. And then
yeah,
I brought Sadat back with Elder Sensei when they did their duo shit, but I pushed it. Like, I'm not a fucking promoter at all. I'm an artist. I'm not trying to be a fucking promoter. So anybody tuning in, just so you know, I'm not your fucking promoter. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm an artist. If I like you, I will book the show and we will try to make something happen. But I fuck with them and me and L are cool. So I booked that show for L, like off the strength. I didn't know what to expect because the last time Sadat was in Milwaukee, it's 10 people. So
right.
when I booked them as a duo, I pushed it. I got some dope artists on the bill, and it was good.
Yeah,
Broke even. Like they were happy for a Milwaukee show. Yeah, it's just it's weird, man. And then you got those little pockets of like those people that hit in random markets like Cool Keith. People in Milwaukee love fucking Cool Keith, and I don't even. It's the weirdest shit ever to me. Like Cool Keith will sell out venues in Milwaukee. I don't get it. I don't understand.
Yeah.
I'm not even dissing. I'm not even dissing Cool Keith. Like he's cool. Like yeah, he's cool.
He's weird.
new. But I'm saying like Dr. Octagon's probably the only shit I fuck with that Cool Keith's ever done.
Right.
But like he sells out shows in Milwaukee. Like I don't understand. I don't.
Yeah.
That's like one of those weird cult favorites here. I don't get.
And he keeps coming back.
Oh yeah, he'll come back and he'll still
smart.
sell out.
Yep,
because he's
smart.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, it's rock band syndrome, man.
And look, Pesto, that's like Afro Man fucking milking Wisconsin. Afro Man milks the fuck out of Wisconsin because Wisconsin loves that dude somehow in some way. No disrespect, Afro Man. Yes, you're a viral dude. You popped off on the internet and all that shit for your songs, but bro, I would never ask you for a feature. I don't care about no Afro Man on my record. Like I don't like he's not somebody I'm searching for where I'm like, oh, I need to get this Afro Man feature before I die because this is what I need in my life. And I'm like, no, because you would get waxed the fuck off the track. You wouldn't even belong on the song. And all you would want is a fucking simple payout is what it was. Like you wouldn't even care about being on the song.
Yep. Well, that's like so. We started talking about the Anno Domini features and shit like that, and it's like it almost hurts in a way seeing like Ghostface Killer or AZ, like you said, advertising for that shit, knowing that they're putting their craft out there to be, watered down and eaten up by 125 fucking amateur fucking rappers that don't know what the fuck they're doing and shit like that, and using your name, and you're never gonna give a fuck about any of these songs. You know what I mean? And it kind of hurts me a little bit because I'm like, damn, I don't think I would ever do that. You know what I mean? And like maybe AZ's a little bit different. I don't think he's fucking broke, but like Ghostface is a fucking millionaire, bro. Yeah. Why does he need that? Why does he need that? Why would he do something like that? And there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. You know what I mean? Fuck all like the dead rappers that they're fucking giving people their features and shit like that. Somebody like Ghostface, I'm like, yo, that's fucking wild to me. You know what I mean? And honestly, it just hurts their credibility. It hurts.
Yeah.
And it hurts me to look at it because I'm like, damn, Ghost, come on, bro. Like, that shit sucks.
It does hurt.
That shit sucks.
It does hurt seeing it. I know it's not broken down to a T or what they actually have, but it says AZ's net worth is $5 million. So he's a millionaire right now.
Okay.
It says that in 2024. But that's the thing, like you said, like I mean, how much are y'all getting?
Right.
Like how much is Anno Domini or whoever's doing it? How much are they paying you up front to do this? Because they got to be getting a good lump sum of money, because why else on earth would you want 100 or 200 or 300? Some of them are even 300 or 300 nobody rappers.
Yep.
To have an exclusive, and this super air quote, an exclusive fucking verse from you. Like, why would you do that knowing damn well you ain't gonna share it? You're never gonna meet these people, but these people are gonna say they know you now because they're on a song with you.
Yep, we're gonna tag you and all kind of shit like that. That was one of the funniest fucking things I ever seen in my life when Pesto and them, did their podcast and did all the Chris Calico features, bro.
That's hilarious.
That was gold. That was fucking gold, and people needed to see that. I remember like when what was it, Denku, like 05, 06, 07 era, and Anno Domini they were popping, but they weren't doing shit like that. They had a website that you could go and you could download their beats for free. And they had some fire. They had some fire. But you realize that if I'm doing this, there's got to be 150 other people doing that same shit with the same beat. You know what I mean? Now it's even more worse because now they've added features and shit like that to it. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's disgusting, bro. It's disgusting. I like
Because like the other stuff, like if a producer's putting beats out for people to use for free use, that's like mixtape shit. That's dope.
right.
Like hell yeah, best man wins. Like do shit with it. But like putting out the features, like man, it takes the whole songwriting everything out of it. It's like me and Denku, like I said, we're throwing this pod project together. It's like a lot of the shit that I threw at Denku was just like random, like bullshit, crazy, weird, off the wall topics. And then like Denku just runs with it. And it's
Yeah.
like that's the thing that like makes a song where it's like if I'm gonna listen to a song and I hear one person rapping about this and I hear the chorus and it fits with what they wrote, and then I hear the next guy rap about something completely
Completely
different, it's
different.
like,
Yeah.
man, what the fuck is this? Like, what are you guys doing?
Well, it's
Like,
like how many times you heard a beat, you're collabing with somebody and you heard a beat that they picked out and you're like, ah, and then they do something on it, you're like, oh shit. Like now I get
yeah,
it. You know what I'm saying? Like
right.
that's the beauty part of collab. You know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah.
so just to have something hand delivered to you like that that's already got tragedy Gaddafi on it, you know what I'm saying? Like, I get the fuck out of here with that shit.
Yeah.
He's
Pest.
another
Yeah.
one too that I heard that does a lot of that, fucking gives his verses to 7 different people. It's the same verse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Pesto hit me with the song "Feet No Legs." I didn't even I didn't even know how to attack it at first. I'm like, is this like what is this? But then I literally sat and thought about what feet would feel like to not have legs attached to them if they were living things. So I wrote a verse about feet trying to move without the legs.
Oh shit.
And that's what my whole verse is. It's actually pretty fucking crazy. I'm not.
And that's fire. That's because that's probably something that, like, that's something that you would never in your fucking right mind on any given day of the week
Never,
sit there
ever
and be
would
like, yo,
ever
this is a
write it.
dope. I got this idea. You know what I'm saying? But Pesto, on the other hand, you know what I'm saying? And then you roll with it. And honestly, too, to me, that sounds like the perfect reach out for a song like that. Yo, thank you. Check this out. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, yo,
Yeah.
because I would be baffled. I would be like, what the fuck am I gonna say right now? You know what
But
I'm saying?
but Pestilence knows I can get on some weirdo shit. He
Oh
knows.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
He
we
knows I can do it.
fucking we hung out enough to like realize like, oh yeah, we can get weird, we can get deep, we can get like we can get
Super
fucking
hip hop,
gully
like
with it,
whatever.
yeah, hip hop with it, like whatever. And it's like we'll find a way to make it work, and it'll be fun. And it's like you
That's
said, it's
fire.
cool to have different vibes and get into
Yeah.
different shit and like do
I
stuff
can't
that
wait. I can't wait to hear some of this shit. Some of the dopest projects too that are collab projects between two artists are the ones where you would never see the commonality in the styles and how they would clash together and shit like that and mesh until you hear it and you're like, oh my God, like it's fucking perfect. You know what I'm saying? It's like a
yeah.
balance. That's
Well, the
dope.
project that like me and Space did, you guys are both a part of that. That's coming out July 14th, Beans
Yeah, I
and
look forward to
Blars.
hearing the full record. Actually,
Um,
Dude.
it's crazy, and it's like it's cool to do that because it's like he was another one that like I've hung out with him, and a lot of that project was me and him sitting in the studio, listening to a beat on loop, just kind of staring at the wall and like being like, "You got anything?" Like, nah, and like we'd fuck around, and then I would
Mhm.
start like saying some bullshit, and he'd be like, "Let's run with that." And that's how the fucking Beans and Blars song and album title came to be, was just like, that was just me fucking freestyling to this beat, some bullshit, saying like, I only eat beans and spit the hardest Blars. And he's like, he stopped the beat and he's like, did you just say Blars? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, what the fuck is a Blar? And I was
Yeah.
like, well, it's like a bar, but it's like, it's got an extra, like it's got like that extra, like it's got some more stank on it. And he was just like, okay. Like,
Yo.
Let's roll
we'll
with
do
it.
that
Let's
kind of
roll with
shit.
it.
Like let's do that, like we
Yeah.
do that kind of shit. And like me and Denku did that. Like we listened to a bunch of his fucking unreleased projects on the way up, and then we were fucking clowning on each other with shit on them. And it's like that's the best. It's like I love that like open dialogue. It's like life is always moving. And it's like you're interacting with people every day. It's like you never know what you're gonna get. So it's cool to hit all of those fucking things where it's like your music can be that outlet too, where it's like you listen to songs and stuff like that, and it's like it's not somebody talking about the same thing every time or
Yeah,
somebody like delivering shit the same exact way every time. It's like somebody that's doing something different, and it's like especially if you're listening to a whole project from somebody, and that's something I've always appreciated about Denku and Space and the guys that like I came up under is that they're both dudes that do that really, really well. Where it's like I throw on one of their projects and I never get exhaustion like
right.
halfway through it. Like this is the same thing over, and I just listened to 6 tracks that sounded the same. It's like the whole album comes together and they put work into like mixing it so it has that like it develops and it's a living, breathing thing. And it's like
Yo,
not every artist does that. Like some people listen to their stuff and it's like it's all the same vein, it's all the same vibe, it's all the same whatever. You get fatigued and it's like I'll come back and listen to the rest later. But
yo,
it's like I never want to have that. You know, I
yo.
never want to because I want to listen to my own shit and I want to listen to my own shit. So if I'm gonna make music, it's like I want to make dope music. I don't want to make shit that's just like mailed in and trash because it's like I want to go back and listen to this shit.
Yeah.
Like,
I like to have a vibe set in stone before the project even starts being chipped away at. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to have an idea for the direction I want to take the project, whether it's an EP or an album or whatever. Like, and like I enjoy doing projects with just one producer. You know what I'm saying? But that's why I went outside the box and did Cannibal Soup, which the whole premise is it's a different producer on every fucking track. You know what I'm saying? To come with different vibes and have different sounds on each track and shit like that. But collabing with a producer or another MC and shit like that throughout the whole project is a beautiful thing because you open up your mind to different ideas and shit like that you didn't necessarily have. I didn't see it going in this direction. You know what I'm saying? Okay, bet. But we work well together. Like this is gonna be fucking dope. But I think like when you drop an album, you drop a project, you start working on it, it's gotta be a passion. Like it's gotta be something that you're aiming towards for that project. You know what I mean? It's not just like, or else it's just a mixtape. Like you're just putting out music. Like, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Like,
Fuck, some of Denku's like hooks that he sent back to me are like I'm like, God damn, like, cause I listen to the beat raw. I throw a verse down and I send him a ref for some of these because it's like we're gonna kind of get hooks from each of us on there. So I want to leave some of those spaces open if I don't have something right away. And it's like, so I've already listened to this hook section and thought of like how I would attack this, and then I hear how he attacks it, and I'm like, holy shit, I would have
yeah,
never even thought to fucking do that.
yeah,
Like that's dope as fuck. Like, damn, and
yeah,
it's like that's another thing that like and I've had that with working with both of y'all and like working with Space where it's like he'll send me something and I'm like, damn, that like I've heard that beat before and I've heard that hook and I've like I get the lucky early access to a lot of Jester Exodus beats. So then I hear like when people work with him in the future, it's a beat that I've already heard. And then it's just like, damn, this
yeah. They took
motherfucker
it in
did
a whole
something
different direction.
crazy on it like
Yeah,
that. I would have never even thought to do that. Like I didn't even
yeah.
really like that beat when I heard it, but like now I like it. Like damn.
That's why, like when we're working on a project like the Godface shit, and there's a lot of dope fucking beats that we have sitting in that playlist and them folders. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, first of all, I'm not going to jump on every fucking track. I could, you know what I'm saying, but I'm not. And there's a lot of beats that I passed up on that I normally would have jumped all over. But I want to hear
Right.
what it sounds like without me on it. Like, let's hear what the fuck these dudes are going to do to it. You know what I'm saying? And that's a beautiful thing. I've never been that tight. Like, it's always been easy for me to sway and be like, yo, no, you have it. You go ahead. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's see what you're going to bring to the table. So
Yeah.
collabing to me is one of the most important things in hip hop. Like it sharpens your sword. Collabing with your peers and shit like that is a beautiful thing. And then even getting people that are maybe a level or a tier above you and shit like that, and collabing with them ups your game
Yeah.
inevitably, and it should. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, but that's always been one of the funnest aspects of the shit is being able to meet people like y'all. You know what I mean? And getting out there, and you got to get out there and collab with people, man. You got to work with people. You know what I mean? You stick solo dolo your whole fucking career and shit like that. You're never gonna grow. You know what I mean? You're never gonna grow. At least in my opinion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
very important to collab with people. Like that's a big deal. whether it's
Yeah.
production or, other MCs and shit like that.
Yeah.
Get yourself
yeah.
out there.
But yeah,
Yeah.
man, we're going on almost two full hours with the homie Gamblez. Gamblez, before we get out of here, why don't you tell people where they can find you on all the socials and stuff like that before we part the ways.
All right. Yeah, you can definitely find me on Facebook, Gams the Lucky Bastard. You can find me on IG, Gambles the Lucky Bastard. And you can look me up on Spotify under Gambles the Lucky Bastard. And check the fucking God Division YouTube channel.
There
You know what I mean? You
Hell
see
yeah.
all of our videos, all of our music is up there. We update it pretty much every week. You know what I mean?
And
So
they dropping a lot of shit, and I know Gamblez has a project coming out like next week,
next
I
Friday,
think.
yeah, this coming Friday, I got to
Yeah,
join.
talk about it. Talk about it.
Yep, this coming Friday, I got to join. I worked on it for a long time. I got a joint fully produced by Hanzo Blades, called The Bastard's Blade. Got all kind of incredible features on there, man. A lot of dope music. Shout out Jay Hex for the mix and master too. He did a really good job. So yeah, this is gonna be a dope project. I'm dropping that this Friday. So that should be out on all platforms. And y'all can look for that and shit. There's a few singles floating around out there. You know what I mean? I got a joint with G Fam and Mo Ruckus. I got a joint with Danielle Darpo that I've been pushing.
Nice.
That's really, really dope. So yeah, that album's fucking fire. So, look for that this Friday. The Bastard's Blade.
Oh,
There it is. There it is, man. So everybody tuning in, man, this has been the CyphaDen Chat in association with the Denku Podcast, which is brought to you by CyphaDen Music, where we inspire even those higher. And remember to never stop chasing your dreams, because you will never know what you are fully capable of. I'm your host, Tayamu Denku. We have the homie Pestilence or Pesto Legs in the building with us tonight. And we had the special guest out there in Colorado in the mountains, the homie Gamblez in the building. So we appreciate you, Gamblez, for tuning in with us tonight, man. It's been a great conversation, very beautiful thing.
Respect, man.
Yeah, man. Definitely make sure everybody checks out that album that
Oh.
drops Friday.
Yep. And Denku's on that album, by the way.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
There it
hell
is.
yeah. Hell yeah.
So y'all can check me on the new Gamblez record that drops Friday. So make sure you tune into that. This has been CyphaDen Chat. We love y'all for tuning in. And until next time, we will catch you next Monday. Gamblez, we appreciate you one more time, man.
Peace, brother.
Peace.
Peace.